I very much try to help develop the look that the DP is looking for during pre-production, whether that's taking what conversations he or she may have with the director and saying, here, let me draft you something, to, hey, Dane, we're doing a camera test, we're doing an explosion test, why don't we come out here and just look at some stuff and see what we're going for, maybe build a bank of LUTs. I also have LUTs from other shows that I've kept, a name and stuff like that. So I do have a little bit of a library of LUTs as well. Basic looks, golden, blue, dark, crunchy, rich, stuff like that. I even have like a log C emulation LUT, which is really funny, but it's like some people like that look, or treat it as a look. How about that? With a little bit more contrast or something in the mids. A 1D LUT allows for too much to be questioned. It also doesn't give the cinematographer everything that is possible with current technology. I think a 1D LUT is nice and simple and can be, okay, hey, we're going to apply this real quickly to there. If for speed, a 1D LUT is definitely, if you're manipulating the footage minimally, for dailies or for editorial or for whoever, knowing that you're going to color correct it to your heart's delight later, and no one's really going to watch it and judge it, then a 1D LUT's nice. Or if, the loading into the camera, into Alexa camera is a 1D LUT. So it's very limiting, but kind of gets you close. A 3D LUT is preferred because it allows for more points of reference, more color, which ultimately the difference, the cube in a 1D LUT versus the cube in a 3D LUT allows for more shades of gradation. So shades of green, shades of purple, blue, orange, red, yellow, that I think is more desirable, because in reality, even if it is a forced reality by the costume designer or whatever it may be, or production designer, whoever's in front of the camera, that gradation sometimes might be important. Skin tone more particularly. So I prefer a 3D LUT always. But sometimes a 1D LUT, it just has to get the job done. How I create LUTs, because there's two parts of this answer. The first part of this answer is me creating a custom LUT which is applied to dailies. One that's me creating a custom LUT that's applied to color on set, the monitors, okay? And then there's one that may be generated for a computer program, because LUTs all have varying degrees of precision. So a LUT that may work in my Pablo with an incredibly high rate of precision versus one that would work in the Alexa camera are significant, or really what's 1D LUT in the Alexa, but those are significant differences. So I tend to use my color programs, Scratch, Resolve, Colorfront, to create the LUTs. Well, an ASC CDL is a color decision list that is produced usually along with a log, with a CDL log, that dictates what LUT is to be applied to which camera roll or scene number as a universal translatable file that works at every step, so that it needs actually the least amount of interpretation. It's the most standardized LUT, if you will. But it is, with standardization, is very limiting. So, but it is the most common. It is what's decided by the ASC. I think they're supposed to be coming out with another version here soon.
The ASC CDL is what we're sending to the editors. They're dropped into files, either .xml or .cdl, in this case is what I use. And then the the back end, whatever system they're using, either Final Cut Pro or Avid, can read that and basically transcode those numbers into actual color information. It's metadata. When I mean applying color, I mean in LUTs. You're building lookup tables that is color metadata that is used later in the post-production process. It's applied to the raw material.
I used the ASC CDL system early on with the codecs recorder and had mixed results. So I think it would be more beneficial on a longer form production.
Yeah, it gets put into the ALE. It gets into the edit decision list, and then it flows right along with the rest of the metadata to either be applied in the final, or if it goes to, let's say, for a final color timing in a color suite, the colors he has a choice. He either can start from scratch, or he can take what we built. Typically, we would prefer that he takes what we built and apply it. But at the time, it's a collective decision, and it could be changed, slightly changed. And if the colorist decides to start from scratch from the raw images, he certainly has the ability to do that.
So sometimes what I'll do is once I get those images and I get some footage either from them, or occasionally I'll have some leftover footage from a previous project, because I'll always keep a copy of some of the footage for a couple days afterwards just in case. Sometimes I'll take it and apply it to some of that footage, and then I'll take a snap of it and be like, well, here was what the settings were on these. So, and we could get this look, so as long as we match those settings, then we should be fine. And then of course, even if I give them that, the first card I get, I sit there and I meticulously go over it to make sure that, what I told them that they could get, they are actually getting at the beginning of the shoot. Because there's no point in continuing to shoot wrong if you can't get what you're going for when you can correct it early on.
Calibrating your monitor is another part of the preparation of the workflow. Having a calibrated monitor is critical, and having a calibrated monitor in conjunction with what post-production's monitors are is also critical, especially in features. In single camera episodic TV, it's not as critical, but it is critical to have a very well calibrated monitor. So ideally, what you're sending them is what they're going to perceive as calibrated as well on their monitors.